Breaking news on a very unfamiliar program that I bet the vast majority of veterans are not familiar with, called the Aid in Attendance Program through the VA, the Veterans Administration. Now, you're probably not aware of it because I know I wasn't, and I had worked for 10 years at USAA, a veteran myself, 4 generations of USAA membership, and the idea that I never heard of Aid in Attendance it's just crazy. And it's a wonderful benefit out there for wartime veterans. You don't need to be a combat veteran. You got to be a wartime veteran. We'll talk about it here, but I want to share with you the breaking news first, and then we'll go backtrack about what the Aid in Attendance program is. All right, so don't forget to subscribe because we talk a lot of stuff for veterans and just a lot of breaking news, and you want to be kept to the breaking news. So breaking news channel right here. All right, so let's go down below here. Now, this is from the estate and asset protection law firm. A lady named Vicki Collier does this from Decatur, Georgia. And she does wonderful. I mean, she got a great website. I think her firm, I don't know anything about the firm in terms of, their legitimacy. I don't know, but it seems like they're pretty squared away. My friend Jamie, whose husband was a retired Air Force pilot. I think her dad was a retired, like captain in the Navy or something like that. Long story short, her mom needed assisted living and then, full-time long-term care. And she was made aware of Aid in Attendance, which I had never heard of. She had never heard of. We both worked at USA. We're both veterans. We both blah. And I can guarantee the vast majority of you out there, veterans or not, have never heard of the Aid in Attendance. Anyway, so there's a new 3-year, we're going to talk about this with Vicki Collier from this firm, estate and asset protection law firm, who was made aware to Jamie about so Jamie had talked to these people. They made her aware of the Aid in Attendance program. Jamie made me aware of the Aid in Attendance program, which I'm making you aware of it as well. So urgent legal announcement. The VA imposes a 3-year look back for transfers affecting wartime veterans. Since 2015, when the VA proposed amendments to its regulations concerning the requirements to qualify for the improved pension, otherwise known as the Aid in Attendance, we have been waiting for the shoe to drop. September 18th, 2018, the shoe finally dropped, and the new rules will go into effect in October 18th of this year, 2018. What are the new rules? A 3-year look back for asset transfers. Beginning October 2018, there will be a 3-year look back on asset transfers for less than fair market value. Previously, you could transfer assets in 1 month and apply for benefits the next month with no look back at all. The 3-year look back has eliminated the option of last minute planning with immediate benefits. Any transfer prior to October 18, 2018 will proceed as previous rules were input. Penalty for asset transfers. Transfers made during the look-back period will be subject to a penalty period, a period of ineligibility that can last up to 5 years. The penalty is calculated by using a set amount as a divisor. The monthly MAPR for a veteran with one dependent, which is currently $2,169 per month, for improved pension with Aid in Attendance, regardless of whether the application is for a surviving spouse or qualifying veteran. Once determined, the penalty period begins on the first day of the month that followed the last asset transfer. Net worth test. The prior asset test was sufficient means with generally around the $80,000 mark. Under the new regulations, the asset limit is now set at $123,000 for 2018 and will increase each year with inflation. The asset test takes into account all assets minus the primary resident and personal belongings like cars. So remember that, because asset test is not your residence, all right? Plus annual gross income minus permissible medical expenses. I'll get into what the program here means in just a second, but just remember that it's minus your home. Be sure to do a check with an experienced attorney who is accredited agent by the VA to determine whether your assets are accountable or exempt under new laws. And Vicki's this lady here is a accredited agent by the VA. Allowable medical expenses. The changes now allow qualified veterans and widows to deduct independent living facilities expenses as a deductible medical expense as long as a physician assistant, CNA, or a clinical nurse specialist says the person either needs assistance with 2 of the ADLs, activities of daily living, remember, transferring, feeding, washing, that kind of stuff, or supervision due to cognitive or physical limitations. Previously, only home health care, assisted living, and nursing home cares were allowed as deductions. So here's Vicki's firm. And she got a bunch of good stuff on here, and I'll just share with you her home. I actually like what she does. Sorry, my nose itches. I had some cinnamon, and I guess it got up there. It makes my nose itch. But she's got a lot of good stuff. You get her Protect Your IRA book. Her e-copy is free. I'm a fan of what she's doing here. I think she does cost $500 for initial consultation is my understanding. But I'm a big fan. I like what she does here for sure. I've never met her. I can't speak to her legitimacy. I just don't know, but I'm a big fan. All right, so let's now go into what the Aid in Attendance program is. And this was sent to me by a subscriber on my YouTube channel, Richard. So Richard, kudos to you and blessings for sending this to me, because this was the best summary I have of this, other than watching some YouTube videos, which are actually quite poor. This is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. All right. So VA helps veterans with wartime service and their families cope with financial challenges by providing supplemental income through the veterans pension and survivor pension benefits. You do not need to be a veteran. Put your 20 years in to qualify. You don't need to have put 20 years to qualify. So a retired veteran, I should say. Discharge from service under other service requirements. Discharge from service under other than dishonorable conditions. You can't be dishonorably discharged. Serve 90 days or more of active duty with at least 1 day during a period of war. Veterans who entered active. Okay, so you don't have to actually be in combat. So I served 90 days or more of active duty with at least 1 day during a period of war, but I never went into combat, and I don't need to be to qualify for the VA pension benefits. Again, this is different than a retiree pension. As long as you have 90 days or more of active duty with at least 1 day during a period of war, you can qualify for this. You have to be 65 or older, permanently or totally disabled, or a patient in a nursing home receiving skilled care or receiving Social Security disability benefits. Now, we just saw what they added to that from Vicky's thing here. Did I go back? We just saw what they added to that from here. So they haven't updated the VA thing yet. But they said right here, allowable medical expenses, allow qualified veterans and widows to deduct independent living facilities expenses. So there are some changes that aren't going to be reflected in here. Unmarried children. All right. So income and net worth. Countable family income is set by Congress. Unreimbursed medical expenses may reduce countable income. Net worth is not excessive. All right. So we just talked about that. If eligible, your pension benefit is a difference between your countable income and the annual pension limit set by Congress. VA generally pays a difference in 12 equal monthly payments. Countable income includes income from most sources as well as any eligible dependents. It generally includes earnings, disability, retirement payments, interest, blah, blah, blah. Some expenses, this is big, such as unreimbursed medical expenses may reduce your countable income. So if you have too much countable income, you won't qualify. If you have not enough countable income, you will. And again, countable income, as we go back here, the changes now allow qualified veterans and widows to deduct independent living facilities expenses as a deductible medical expense, which will reduce your countable income. Net worth includes basically all your net worth. Other than your primary residence. So right here, your yearly family income must be less than the amount set by Congress to qualify for the Aid in Attendance program. You can view the current income limits by going to this website, vba.va.gov. All right, let's keep going down. All right, so how to apply the veterans application. They got the VA form 21-526. If you're the veteran, if you're a survivor. So in this case, my friend Jamie, her dad died, who is a veteran. Her mom was a survivor, and so she can qualify using VA form 21-534. And you can access these forms here visit your local VA regional office. I would actually get an accredited attorney who knows about the Aid in Attendance program to submit the application on your behalf. Just talked to another guy yesterday who does a lot of work for the VFW as a veteran service officer. And he was telling me, don't just go on VA.com or whatever it is, VA.gov, because it's just you against the algorithm. Go get a VSO, Veteran Service Officer, from either the Disabled American Veterans, the VFW, the American Legion, because they know the rules and what you need to do better than you do, and certainly better than the algorithm won't represent you as all. So when I went to the VA and I applied, I got denied. It makes sense just because the algorithm said you don't qualify. Well, he says, no, don't do that. I mean, you can do that by all means, but you want to talk to somebody, a VSO, a veteran service officer at your local veterans group. Aid and attendance household. Veterans and surviving spouses who are eligible for a VA pension and are housebound or require the aid and attendance of another person may be eligible for a monthly payment. I'm telling you, it's not cheap. It's not chump change either. What aid and attendance is an increased monthly pension amount paid if you meet one of the following. You require help in performing the 6 activities of daily living: bathing, eating, dressing. You are bedridden. Now, again, one of the following, not all of the following. You're a patient in a nursing home. Your eyesight is limited to corrective vision, and you can read all that. Let's see. Housebound, an increased monthly pension amount if paid if you are substantially confined to your immediate premises because of permanent disability. To apply for the increased pension based on aid and attendance or housebound, write to your local VA, blah, blah, blah. Because aid and attendance and household allowances increase a pension amount, people who are not eligible for a basic pension due to excessive income may be eligible for pension at these increased rates. So again, you just want to get help with this stuff. I would seek an accredited VA attorney to walk you through the process. Frequently asked questions. What qualifies as a wartime period? And here's me right here. Gulf War, August 1990 through today, essentially. So if you're a veteran today and you're not dishonorably discharged, you qualify as long as you had 90 days of active duty. You don't have to be in combat. You don't have to be retired. You can do your 4 and get out, and you qualify, potentially, as long as you have certain income and net worth limits. So you can see that. If I'm already receiving monthly payments for a service-connected disability, can I also receive a VA pension? Again, this is aid and attendance, not your pension that you're normally thinking about, which is what I was thinking. When they say VA pension, first thing that comes to mind is survivor benefit pension, because that's what a military pension is. You get a certain amount of money at your retirement at 42 or 38, depending when you retire. This is different. This is still falls under the pension name, but it's a completely different program. You cannot receive a VA non-service connected pension and service connected disability compensation at the same time. However, if you apply for the pension benefit and are rewarded payments, VA will pay you whichever is greater, which is pretty cool. Can I apply for a pension benefits if I do initially qualify? Yes, you may reapply at any time if your countable income is below the yearly limit. And we'll talk about, I think they do get into that here. Additional VA benefits. Disabilities determined by the VA to be related to your military service can lead to monthly non-taxable compensation, enrollment in the VA health system, and a 10-point hiring preference for federal employment. Ask your VA VSO, Veterans Service Organization represent. I'm just telling you right now, you got to go to American Legion, VFW, Disabled American Veterans. Ask your VSO, and I'm going to do that actually because again, I got denied for hearing aids. But I think that there could be more to it that the system didn't understand. And they talk about for more information. All right. So we talked about, let's go back to Vicky's thing in terms of your income. Remember, your income means your assets going forward will be about $123,000, but it does not include your home. All right. So that's your asset. And I can't remember what the income was here. She doesn't say what the income is. And I don't think it did say on this form right here. Let's see here. Did it say your income? I thought it wasn't a huge amount, but it wasn't too low either. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what the income is. I thought they said they were going to say it on this thing here. But no. Constant family is below. Constant family income is below the amount set by Congress, so they don't say here. But all right, so at the end of the day, the issue is aid and attendance. You have to have a certain income. And off the top of my head, folks, I don't remember what it is, but let's just say it's $40,000 a year. I don't know. And you have assets below 123, and that income of $40,000 a year can be reduced by the amount of your non-reimbursable medical expenses going to assisted living. So let's say you have an income of $40,000 a year, but it costs you $50,000 a year for assisted living that you're not being reimbursed for. So you have negative income from these guys' perspective. You should follow up with aid and attendance to see if you qualify, because you can get, I think it's up to $21.69 a month. Now, don't quote me on any of these numbers. I'm not an expert on this. Vicky Collier here, and again, I've never met her, but she's an expert. Your VSO, Veteran Service Officer at your local veterans group, is an expert. I am not. So I would start with an attorney who's accredited. And I think if you go to, they'll actually show you who the accredited attorneys are if you go to one of the VA websites that you should see. So anyway, at the end of the day, things have changed big time. You need to be aware. You need to be aware of aid and attendance rules because you might qualify it. And if you do, that could be a big, big burden off your back for long-term care. Hope this helps, my friends. As always, don't forget to subscribe down below. Love to hear your comments. If you have knowledge on this program and you want to share it, please, 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 for the love of God, do so because people need to be aware. I'm telling you, I cannot stress this enough. The fact that I worked at USAA, and I dealt with officers. I dealt with enlisted. I dealt with surviving spouses whose husbands were KIA. I dealt with all this. The fact that I did not know this, and no one at USAA knew this. The fact my friend Jamie did not know this, and she worked at USAA, and she has veterans all up and down her family. It's disgusting. And so we don't know. The vast, vast, vast majority of veterans don't know. So please put comments down below to help these people figure this out. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.